All right, welcome back. We're here for the Omni Talk After the 5. It's July 20th, 2018. I'm excited because the whole crew's here today. We've got Ann on my left.
Finally.
And Carter Jensen is back from his, was it a 2-week vacation?
Yeah, 2 weeks of not being in the hot seat here. So
Yeah.
Missed it. I'm glad to be back.
We definitely missed you last week, but Ann and I did conspire on something a little this week.
Perfect. I gave you too much time to think of something
We
good.
did,
So,
and
yeah.
so
Should never go away.
So we wanted to turn the tables on you
Perfect.
and actually play How Millennial Are You?
Oh, great.
So I put together, I'm a huge fan of television and movies. So I've put together a historical retrospective of different television sitcoms.
Which before we even start, this is going to be bad, but for anyone who knows me knows I don't watch any TV, I don't watch movies. This is going to be really bad.
No,
All right,
no.
but I feel it's all right.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, don't sweat. You'll be all right. You'll get through this. I tried purposely not to make it very hard.
Oh, perfect.
But for the audience, I think this will give them a great appreciation for just who you are.
Great.
And it's about time we did it, too. All right, number 1. Have you seen Different Strokes?
Definitely not. No, I have not seen Different
What-
Strokes.
if you were
I wouldn't
to-
even know what the movie's about. I've never even heard of it, to tell you the honest truth.
If you were to guess what the TV show, I'll give you a hint, Different Strokes is about, what would it be?
Maybe it is about a group of artists who all take on different types of art and try to sell it on the streets of New York.
Okay, fantastic. We're moving
Love
on.
it.
We're just going to move on from that one. All right, have you seen, we're going to keep going up a
this is
few
not
years at a
good.
time, probably 5 to 10 years at a time. Have you seen Family Ties?
I have not. No.
Besides, are you...
Should I ask, guess
should
what
you
that's
guess
about?
what that's about?
So another better version of Full House?
It's close.
All
That's
right,
close. It's
sure.
kind of a hippie
Hey.
version of Full House, starring
fair enough.
Michael J. Fox.
Hey. All
Right?
right.
Yeah, his
Hippie.
dad worked for PBS, right? And,
Sure.
but he was a staunch Republican. That was kind of the funny thing in the house. But anyway, all right, here's... this was Ann's favorite, I'm sure. We'll find out here in a second.
Obviously.
Ann doesn't know these are coming either. Have you seen Blossom?
Oh, no.
Ann, was that on? Did you celebrate that one?
Obviously.
Joey Lawrence.
Okay,
Oh,
what
my
like time
God.
frame are we talking about here? Like, are we talking about like the 80s, the 90s?
90s.
Oh, we started late
80s,
70s, then
yeah.
we got mid 80s. Now we're kind of mid.
Yeah.
But like
late to
millennial, like
early
I wasn't even born during these times.
Oh yeah, no, we're trying to find out how.
All right, we're moving up. All right, here we are. All right.
Okay,
It's a
you can be
sliding
millennial
scale.
and still be old in
That's
mind.
fine.
Hence, that's why I'm almost more baby boomer. All right, Family Matters.
We might as well just I could just say no to most
All right,
of
and
these.
last one. This is the defining test. The pièce de résistance. Hannah Montana.
Yeah, I mean,
You know Hannah Montana? Yes.
So there we go.
All right.
All right, you got one out
It's
of me.
completely generational.
I just got to figure out how bad this was.
So you scored 1 out of 5. So I don't know. I think it actually defines that you are incredibly millennial.
Hey.
Which is, I think, probably what we thought initially.
This was
Appreciate
really
that.
just for Chris and I to reminisce about
Yeah.
old TV shows.
You know, you get a little
we used to
revenge.
watch.
Makes
too.
us
Yeah.
feel better.
Right.
It shouldn't really
I
change
get
your
it.
opinion of yourself at all. All right. Anyway, enough of that. But we missed Carter. We wanted to provide you guys some humor this week because, quite frankly, it was a really, really light week in the news. Normally, we like to break down what I talked about in the Fast Five. We'll do that and then add any interesting tidbits that we also saw in the headlines. But this week, we were talking amongst the three of us. There wasn't a heck of a lot to talk about. So thanks for indulging us there. But let's open it up, you guys. So we talked this week about Amazon Prime Day. We talked about the Microsoft partnership, the Microsoft Walmart partnership. I always have trouble saying that for some reason. And then we talked about Chef, the meal kit company, ceasing operations. So let's just open it up. Where do you guys want to go first?
Can we start with Prime Day?
Prime
It's
Day?
always fun to talk about
All right.
Amazon.
All right.
But I think for me in a little bit of the techie world, like the biggest thing was the fact that they had a little trouble getting
Okay.
off the ground, right? A couple of the categories were down. Sometimes the site was down for a certain, corner of users. And I think it was always fun to see the giant fall a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's I don't know if you know this, but the error pages on Amazon's.com are dogs, like they're puppies, right?
Puppies, right.
'Cause it's like, how mad can you're pissed because you can't actually buy whatever Prime Day deal you want. But then there's a bunch of puppies and you're like, oh, that's cute. All right, Amazon, I'll check back with you in like 10 minutes. I'm sure you're fine. Like you can go back to your dogs and then, let me know when the site's back up. But I always thought that's a fun way to do it. It didn't really affect me. I think what's interesting.
Did you try to buy anything?
I went through, I put stuff in my cart and I was like, I don't need that. I almost succumbed to the Prime Day thing.
I did that with the look. I almost got a couple looks for us all to try out, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't end up pulling the trigger.
That's another thing to talk
But
about.
a lot of people did pull the trigger. Like,
Oh my
I
goodness.
think the biggest
Yeah.
thing of note is that in
$4
that first
billion
10
or
hours,
something?
even with the site crashing, they still did more than they did last year in that
totally.
same time period.
Well, and I
So-
think the other thing before we get off the site crashing
it's
thing is like
crazy.
you look at the mindset that we're in when we purchase stuff on Prime Day. Like there's no coincidence during a work day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the average consumer, you got a couple seconds down, and you see an email come through, and you click in, and it's down. I wonder if the fact that it's like, oh, I'll just come back in a couple hours. It's not that big of a deal. So I wonder if it's not as huge as we may think it is in terms of impact on sales.
Oh, I totally agree. I think these things are always overblown. I've personally even lived through a few of them myself,
Yeah.
and like at the end of the day, like stuff comes back. People don't get that mad about it. Like, you get the customers that are really angry about it generally, but like at the end of the day, things recalibrate or you find that equilibrium again.
Totally.
It's almost the same thing with security breaches. That's kind of another one that's out there like that too, where it's like, oh, it's the worst thing, but then or like the Facebook thing, like everyone gets all up, but then everything just returns back to normal. I don't know. It's just kind of how it feels sometimes.
Yeah. What were you going to buy?
I was looking at more Echoes.
More Echoes?
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going to put them?
Where else do you put
I
that?
don't know. I was looking at a couple of those, and then like smart home stuff. They had a bunch of smart home cameras and different sensors and
They had
things
some
like
really
that.
good deals on some of that
Oh,
stuff too,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and a Roomba.
Oh,
Shameless.
That's all right. I will sign up for the Roomba.
Yeah.
I can endorse that. It's
Okay.
been a life-changing.
Oh, great.
little
Now I'm gonna have to go
robot.
buy it.
Yeah, you definitely do.
That's pretty good. It's cute too. It's like a little puppy. All right, what'd you think, Ann? What, this week?
I actually didn't do shopping on Prime Day on Amazon, but what I did do was go to Whole Foods, and I think that in my small
interesting.
focus group of
Interesting. We haven't talked
family
about
and
that.
friends,
Yeah, let's
that
go
was
there.
actually the big deal about Prime Day or
Yeah.
week in that case was
Yeah,
the
totally.
$10 credit on Amazon that you got if you spent $10 in a Whole
For
Foods
sure.
store.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's really, that's kind of the string throughout all of the topics we're kind of talking about, even in the Fast Five this week, is there's a lot that's going to be very interesting with that partnership, and especially how that evolves in the next couple of years. I think, you look at now Prime members getting this 10% off at Whole Foods, and how that's going to really change
insane.
things. I mean, you're making it accessible to more people. And while there's some argument that, the brands and what they're carrying is changing, it's going to be interesting to see how that changes.
Well, 10% off is
people's-
not nothing either. Like, I mean,
Right.
that's a pretty serious
your
discount.
grocery
And,
bill,
like,
that's huge.
you look at other retailers who are like, 5% or whatever based on the loyalty program you might jump up on.
Right.
But like, I don't remember in past the 10% mark.
Exactly.
So it's not nothing.
So the Prime Week deals that Whole Foods were having were pretty significant. We're talking like severe discounts on meat, like a chicken that's usually $10 was $3 or something. I mean, it's a pretty significant discount that they were offering, and so I think that while their main goal and the big like achievement for Amazon on Prime Day is increasing Prime members, they that's their biggest Prime membership day. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with, who is coming in from the Whole Foods side of things, and how that whole like partnership is going to change.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm really glad you brought that up. Yeah, I remember seeing one photo in some piece I wrote, or not piece I wrote, but some piece I read, where you walk into the Whole Foods store and they had like the little table set up to like sell Prime memberships.
Right.
And they were like saying, oh, they're going to go sell a lot of Prime memberships by getting people into Amazon or into Whole Foods. And you're like, no. It's like you said, like that totally misses the point. Is this day is actually about democratizing Whole Foods for everyone. And that's where there's all this untapped potential. That's awesome that you thought of that. So what else?
We can dive into the whole chef going out. Like, I think that was really interesting.
Chef got chef.
Yeah, I mean, we've done our family of two and our dog, done the, Blue Apron thing, and I've never been a huge proponent of it. And I think
tried it too. It didn't work
it's
for us.
exactly what you said. And I also think, coming back to a couple other topics we talked about now, like 6 months ago, but it's not only the vice of maybe going to Taco Bell after a long day, but I think, the price point on these meal kits isn't low. Like, I mean, it's expensive. And so when I look at the difference of, well, we can buy this meal kit where we're kind of forced to do that, or I can walk down to one of the 4 restaurants that we live next to.
Yeah.
Now, granted, yes, the restaurant will be more expensive. I get that. But the price difference there is worth the flexibility, the experience of going out somewhere, all of that kind of stuff. And I think I just always felt so cornered when we had that, because it's sitting in your fridge expiring, and ultimately at the end of the day, you might not even want what's in it.
Yeah. That's how we felt too. Have you tried it?
I've tried several from like the most localized version of these boxes, and paying a pretty significant premium. And our family kind of practices a somewhat paleo lifestyle, so there's a lot of boxes that have targeted specifically that.
Yeah, you would think it would be great for you guys, like, because you're trying to eat to a very specific diet even.
Right. However, it's not. Because, the portions are still very controlled, and I think that, with the traditional meal kits, it was like, this is just not realistic for our family. So, I mean, this is a huge problem. Like, I was just last night in a big box retailer, and you hear moms all around me around 4:35, like, hurry up, kids, come on, I got to get home and make dinner. Like, this is a huge problem. And in my opinion, I think that this, again, is where I think the Whole Foods Amazon thing could be really interesting for future, because what you really want and crave and need is somebody to, I think, inject like some sort of AI, like, learn me and my behaviors and help me figure out, like you said in the Fast 3 this week, but learn how I'm purchasing. What are my staples? How do you get those to me more frequently? But then how do you learn what I like and don't like? And how do you suggest things so that it is as simple as 3 p.m. I get an email from Amazon or Whole Foods like, hey, do you want to have, here's 3 options for tonight. Totally. We can pull that and pick it, and you can go pick it up. And now you have all of those ingredients, and you're not, not just little packets of ingredients, but you have a bag that you can collapse when you get home. You don't have all the waste from the meal kits, but then I can go home and make whatever I'm feeling that night. It's not, you're not held to, like you said, Sunday's decisions that by Wednesday your family, isn't wanting salmon remoulade or whatever that thing was. So I think for me, the real benefit, I think, of machine learning and as companies are really understanding and learning my preferences will be that I don't have to even do the Sunday choosing of or meal planning. Like, that meal planning in itself is a difficult thing for families to do in the first place. And meal kits are just like semi-simplified meal planning, which is a hard thing for people. It's a hard habit for people to get into.
Totally.
Yeah. I'd love to go deep on this a little bit, because I didn't really get the chance in the Fast 3, because you're trying to go so quickly. But from my perspective, like, grocery shopping is really about 2 things. It's about deciding what you want and then acquiring what you want, right? And that changes a lot based on how you're feeling or what's going on the given day or how busy you are. And so to me, meal kits are just actually an incredible distraction, because a grocery store is already a meal kit, right? I've talked about that a lot. You can get any ingredients you want. They actually already sell meal kits in the frozen food aisle and in the heat and eat aisle, right? Like, so my vision of the correct answer to me is, okay, how do you rethink about the entire grocery experience from decision to acquisition? And I think it starts first in the house, like you just said, like whether it's Alexa or voice-activated technology, you're just saying, hey, what are the options that me, feed me up some recipes that I might like.
Right.
All right, which one of those do I want? I want to eat, I said chicken Kiev on the thing, let's use that. I want chicken Kiev, recipe fulfillment technology, like a mixed recipes or something like that. Send that to my house, right? Here's when I want it, make it come here.
Yeah.
And that's probably just as cost effective, if not more cost effective than meal kits.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of those, you're able to do that with the costs of a Walmart or your local grocery store, right? And then, but then if I make the decision that I actually still do want to go and shop, which I think can be fun, and taking the kids can be fun, or if I want to actually maybe pick out some fresh meat or something like that. But I want to be able to walk in, and I don't want to have a cart, because I hate putting my kids in the cart. I've walked away from my cart, and my kids almost nosedived out of the cart. That sucks. And I want to just be able to walk hand in hand with them and be like able to like take a phone or tap something or say something, be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then I just leave, right? And I click a button or I say something to someone or to something, and I say, here's where I want my stuff when I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Because I got 2 kids in tow. I either want to pick it up at the door. I don't want to wait in line to bag it. Get that all for me done behind the scenes. Put it in my trunk. Let me drive up. Even deliver it to my house like they do in China. That's like where things have to go. And if you're sitting here wasting time spending $200 to $300 million on meal kit companies, some are rumored even like $700 million.
Right.
Put that $700 million into inventing that. I could invent that for $50 million if you wanted me to. Like, that's the part that drives me crazy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
even less than that, probably. Like, just knowing the technologies that are probably involved in that. So, anyway, sorry to get on my soapbox, but I think you're dead right.
It was great. I think that's perfect.
What else?
Well, let's talk about Walmart and Microsoft.
Okay.
I think we talked about it, or you talked about it, Chris, a little bit in the Fast 3. But I think that what is really amazing about this partnership is that if you're going to take a large company like Walmart, who's trying to compete with Amazon, get off Amazon Web Services, and now they're going to open up and have this partnership with Microsoft. If anybody's going to try to put a realistic approach against Amazon, I think this partnership is one that can stand a chance doing that.
What makes you say that?
Well, I think that, you look at, first of all, I'm curious how they're going to get it done in 5 years. That's my biggest challenge to them, is like
I think it's just
migrating
that's
all
probably
of
just
the...
to make the contract though, but it's a good start,
Sure.
most likely.
I think it's just figuring out, getting all the systems migrated over is going to be a challenge, but now you have all this opportunity to basically, take all of the capabilities that Microsoft offers. Ava Retail is a great example. Like, if you're really going to say, okay, Walmart, tackle Amazon Go's experience, you have these incredible partners like Ava who have tried and true experiences and are able to kind of put together this puzzle or pieces of a puzzle that are going to help Walmart tackle these problems head on, give them expertise in-house that they don't have currently, and really provide the tools to support Walmart and their innovation teams to try to compete with Amazon, or at least get them on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this a little bit in between recordings here, and I think Walmart's always had kind of this forward-looking, technology-fueled background, and I think taking on a partner like Microsoft is just going to dump a bunch of fuel, a bunch of capabilities on the fire that they've already continued to stoke, year in and year out, and so I think it's really exciting for them to distance themselves from maybe other competing technology platforms, right? Bring it in-house and have the strategic partnership with a technology company that can, as I mentioned, dump fuel on this fire of what might be next, right? And for the next 5 years, that's not a short amount of time either. I think there's going to be a lot that's going to be able to get done. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table.
Yeah, I think for those unfamiliar with how some of these things work too, in terms of what these guys are talking about, like, retail companies, it's not like they're not talking to Microsoft or the Intels of the world or even the Googles or AWS, whomever you want to talk. They're always consistently having conversations, and I think the key thing here is really what this signals is that Amazon. I'm sorry, I keep doing that on this topic. I don't know why, but Walmart. Sorry, it signals that Walmart has said cloud is really gall darn important, and we got to find who the right cloud partner is. And when you look at the landscape of who that is, there are only so many options, and in this case, they're choosing Microsoft. And I think to your point, like, Microsoft brings a lot of other things to the table. Number one, I know they're also a retailer, so like that's actually a huge advantage against some of the other options, and they're not Amazon. And then they have this great stable of partners, many of whom you mentioned, and that signals that Walmart is trying to think about this, that they're not just going to let the Alibabas of the world and the Amazons figure out what that new technical operating platform is for retail. And I don't know that every company is doing that or thinking about it that strongly or that overtly and trying to go after it. So I think for those, that's kind of how that situation works. And that's why what this signals is, in our minds, I think really important.
Totally.
What else, you guys? Any final closing thoughts? The Jeff Goldblum statue. I mean, we can't leave. I know we had a little fun in the beginning. Let's kind of cap it off, bookend it here at the end. The Jeff Goldblum statue in London. What do you guys think of that thing?
You're obsessed with it. That's what I know.
I think it's amazing. I think it's like the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
We'll throw the photo.
You're in marketing. Who came up with that? That's fantastic.
I mean, it's great. I think it's a ton of fun. Nothing wrong with that.
Sell a few DVDs on the 20th.
Yeah, why not?
Of Jurassic Park. His shirt's open. It's great. All right, I can see right there that it's it didn't tickle your guys' fancy as much as it did mine.
You know.
So,
It reminded me of the first time I saw that statue on the High Line of that older man in just his underwear, the very realistic statue. That's the first thing that came to mind. And so I think I need to warm on the Jeff Goldblum sexy statue. Sorry. It's still a little fresh.
So Jeff, you've cooled a little bit since the mid-1980s.
Ouch.
All right.
Ouch.
All right, well, let's get ourselves out of here on that one. From Carter, from Ann, from me, and to all of you, as always, be careful out there.